No, I mean, like, you know what they say, well, whatever you can't do, you teach. So now I just like, every time I'm watching a football game, I'm like, he's not doing something quite right. So like, there's little things like that.
Whoa. Have you hit that subscribe button? If not, what are you waiting for? Do it.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Total Sport. And today we have a very, very, very special video for you. A man who has Football Manager as a reason for staying alive almost and having the life that he has today. We have Sasha with us because I'm going to call you Sasha because the last name is going to be a good bit of fun for me. But how are you, mate? How are you? You all
It's
right?
fine, don't worry. I'm good. It's been a very, very long few years, especially with lockdown still kicking in. But I think we're all kind of getting too used to the new normal. But I mean, aside from buying groceries and everything, watching the Netflix, we have Football Manager, so that keeps me busy, really.
Yeah, exactly. So those of you who've been fans of the channel for ages, we actually used to do a bit of Football Manager back in the day. But this is a really, really special story and something I'd recommend you listening to. So Sasha, before we get into it, just explain to the people what happened to you a couple of years ago, and how did it?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
How did it impact you?
Well, at the time, I had just finished another degree. I'm Asian, so you have to overachieve, and like another degree in America with the hopes of breaking into the film and television industry. Um, I was like writing and producing, and my best friend actually, he's now the assistant for the Russo brothers over at Marvel Film Studios, so he's done well. Anyway, but like yeah, so I was actually just watching the telly one day, and I was in Savannah, Georgia, in the south of America, and my legs just went numb, and I just went, well, that's a bit odd. I'll just carry on watching TV, and it just got worse and worse. And I thought, it's okay, let me just shake this off. And I tried to get up and push myself up, and I just slipped and fell. I collapsed. I couldn't really focus, felt in and out of consciousness, and somehow I could hear my telephone ringing upstairs, but I couldn't move. So using literally my hands and my elbows, just crawling all the way up, got my telephone, rang a friend of mine, asked him to ring the ambulance. I heard them knocking the door, and I literally fell down the stairs, opened the door, and they took me in. And after many, many days, many injections, and many months of testing, we found out that I had an autoimmune disorder called Guillain-Barre Syndrome, which is very, very rare, and there's no known cause. Basically, that means that my autoimmune system was pretty much trying to destroy itself for no known cause. And likewise, how, let's say if you have a virus or a cold, it instinctively fights back, but this time it fought on itself. And yeah, it was horrible. Like, I was in the hospital for 6 months. I was told that I would never walk again. I had a short-term memory of at first 2 minutes, and I kept on passing out. So every time I woke up, I had no idea what was going on. It was like that Adam Sandler who film on 51st Dates. You know, every time you wake up, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? So that got a laugh from quite a few of the people that work there, but they were very, very nice. And honestly, it was tough because you lose a lot of yourself and you lose a lot of self-confidence. And Football Manager has always been one of my dearest loves ever since, I want to say 2003, 2004, when it was still Championship Manager before I went to Football Manager, I think it was, yeah. And yeah, like but I didn't know what to do. When I was finally able to fly back from America to Malaysia, where I currently live, it was difficult because I couldn't remember anything, and that affected my mood. I became heavily depressed, very, very angry with the world, and I wasn't quite the best son during that time, the best brother, and I didn't know what to do. So basically, one of my doctors was just saying, "All right, listen, you like football, and you like video games or computer games. Why don't you like Football Manager? Why don't you try picking that up again?" I thought, well, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? And as I started playing the game, I started remembering little things like what tactics to use, which teams to use, how to buy and sell players, how to run the club. And the amazing thing was, after each save, obviously you save it before you logged out. Like I would still remember what happened before, and no one could imagine. Like they're like, "How are you doing this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just remembered like thrashing Spurs 3-0 with like 10 players. I was great, that kind of thing, and just little things like that. And it carried on, and I actually met two psychiatrists. Actually, no, one psychologist, one psychiatrist actually, and I brought this up, and they were saying that comparing my they took tests before I started playing Football Manager and after I started playing Football Manager, and literally with no other addition, I was on the same medication, the exact same. There was a huge difference, and honestly, I can actually put it down to Football Manager actually saving my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an unbelievable story about how, all the medication in the world and it comes down to a video game.
Yeah,
It's just crazy. So
yeah.
how does that sort of make you feel that like these little differences that can be made by such little things that can just change you in such a magnificent way? How does that make you feel that those things exist out there?
I know it just they always say, like look out for the little things in life, you never know. And it just makes you realize no matter how much of a rough day you've had or whatever bad experience you've had, you can always rely on that same old comfortable thing that once brought that spark out in you to kind of almost save your life, turn your life around, something that can tether you to getting better. So I don't know. I'm just so happy that I found it again, and it's helped me so much.
Yeah, amazing. You mentioned you've been playing it so much, and
Mhm.
it's sort of brought out other parts of you, and now you're easy to talk to. You've obviously recovered really, really well. Do you
Thank
think
you.
that Football Manager brought you back from where you were before the terrible incident?
Well, I mean, it's very easy to kind of um, exaggerate how important this thing was, but I really can't because one thing I need to stress is that part of my illness meant like it really shut me into my house, and I was too embarrassed or scared to even call friends to ask them to come over to help to speak or whatever. So I was literally just stuck in my house. And while my family were great, Football Manager it really brought out that old me. I remember as soon as I started playing, my mum would come over and she'd be like, and she was like saying, "Are you playing Football Manager?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "You look a lot more like you again." And I know it's just little things like that, and it helps with my hand-eye coordination, remembering when to put on my subs and everything. And it's changed me so much. I honestly can't put it into words how much it's helped me.
Yeah. So in terms of like being like in the house for so long and all that sort of, how did that really affect you mentally? I know that there was loads of stuff going on anyway. But
Yeah.
how do you think it affected you not being able to sort of have that same contact with the world as you had before?
Well, I mean, I think we're all in the same boat now with COVID, aren't we? I mean, it's not too far off. But for me, it wasn't easy, honestly, because the fact was, at the time, I want to say that when I first started playing it, I couldn't even walk up the stairs, let alone like like move anywhere. And like it was like I literally had to have a family member like turn me over in bed or help sit me up. Thankfully, obviously I had my hands so I could get on the keyboard and that. But it's huge. I mean, just having something there to comfort you and also test you at the same time. And no matter how much pain I was in, whether it would be after physiotherapy or just a really, really bad night with the cramps, it just alleviated all the pain.
Yeah. So in terms of health wise now, how are you feeling? And are you back to the where Sasha was before?
Honestly, I'd love to be, but I mean, based on the research I've done and the specialists I've spoken to, I don't think I'll ever really be 100% again. But I really can't complain. I mean, I'm alive, which is great. And based on the research I've done, I am in the top, I want to say the top 5% in terms of people that have recovered so far. Like I'm still numb from the neck down, and I still can't feel anything, which is I
Mm.
know that a lot of people call me like a superhero. The fact is, if you poke something, I still can't feel it. But
Yeah.
no, but I mean, like, but I can walk around. I can't run per se, but I can walk. I can play with my dog, which is the best experience I could have asked for. And no, I mean, like, you know what they say, whatever you can't do, you teach. So now I just like every time I'm watching a football game, I'm like, he's not doing something quite right. So like, there's little things like that. So I'm just very, very grateful to be here.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's talk a bit more about Football Manager.
Sure. Let's do that.
Who's been your favorite wonder kid over these years and why?
Honestly, this is gonna sound really cheesy, but I'm not a big fan of the wonder kids that are preset. I love the regens though. The regens, those are the ones that I like. Like my bread and my butter. I love those. But like, I put a lot of pride into my scouting team. My scouting team usually involves a lot more coaching staff than I actually have, and I have them scour throughout the entire world. And it's just great seeing how these kids start off. Although to be fair, looking back on it now, I remember seeing some wonder kids like in like 2003, 2004 onwards, making it become world superstars now. So there you go.
Yeah, it's unbelievable like that. And which game in particular can you pinpoint as your favorite one?
Oh, that's a toughie. Which one's yours?
Oh, 2007, every day. The first
Yep,
one.
That's the one. Yep.
The first one I ever played, 2007, and I just remember because obviously I didn't have much of a concept back then of teams that that's what, I was only like a toddler almost, but I played a bit more, and I always remember you could get David Villa for 24 million as a release clause. So
that'll do. From Valencia, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was definitely 2007 for me. Closely followed probably by some of the more recent ones like 2018, maybe 2020 as well. Even though the square passing in 2020 was awful.
Let's not talk about that. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
So, what are you looking forward to about FM21? I know you haven't got your hands on it yet, but what's your plans for FM21? Who's going to be the teams you're going to be?
I don't know because I've actually paid for it already. I couldn't wait, and I've already got it. But I don't know because it's usually whenever I start off a brand new game, I want to start off with somewhat just to make me acclimatized to the games. So I might start off as good old faithful Man United to start off with, and then when I'm really gritting my teeth into it, and then the real German save really kicks in. I always start and end with Hull City. Nothing else. So we'll see how that goes.
I like that. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Sasha, and just an amazing story. We'll leave a link to, because where we found out about Sasha was on Sport Bible, so we'll leave a link to that article down below. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to say, mate?
Thank you so much for reaching out, and I hope everyone has a good day.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. And everyone, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's what you got to do. And if you haven't already, and because I know that 84% of you who watch the videos don't subscribe, you bastards.
Terrible.
I know it's not good enough, is it? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we will see you next time.